Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Curse Invitational, bringing you guys a game between RoX.KIS and Empire. This is going to be the second game in this best of 3 series, and we're going to see what these two teams have to bring to the table for this one here. First game going very much the way of RoX, the Radical Online Extremists, being able to take it out with some great team play, some great fight presence, and just crushing it while they had the opportunity to do so. So nicely done from them. We'll see if Empire are going to be able to kind of pull themselves out of a little bit of that rut there and kind of move on forward to make sure they're not going to face elimination with this next game. We'll have to see, but yeah, going to be an interesting one here where everybody's loading on into the game before we get on into the draft itself. But it was a very, very fun match to cast, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. Again, shout out to Alienware as well as Curse for jumping on in to sponsor this up and provide us some excellent, excellent Dota. Now, again, I myself am Blaze, and co-casting it up with me is Merlini. How's it going?
Sponsors for hosting this awesome tournament. Again, both of these two teams are participating in the Western TI3 qualifiers, which should be taking place next week, so just in a couple of days. And both teams have something to prove. Every 8 of those teams has a chance to qualify for the ever so coveted 14th or 15th spot in the TI3 International, which was going to be hosted in Seattle this year by Valve at Banner Royal Hall. So every team aspires to compete at TI3, and Team Empire and RoX.KIS no different. So, again, this is just a little bit of preview of what we can expect for the Western qualifiers. So, bans already well underway. We see Batrider and Wisp taken out by Team Empire, and Magnus and Nyx Assassin taken out by RoX.KIS.
So how do you think this draft is going to break down a little bit? I felt that they kind of went a little bit more towards that late game a bit too much with the Magnus, so kind of changing the pace of things I feel would be a little bit nicer. Do you think that they should be looking at a completely different strategy from what they came into play last time around, or just kind of do it the same thing but better?
I mean, they tried the very unusual 1-2-2 and sometimes like with the Rubik rotating a little bit, but it just didn't seem to work out well for them. They didn't shut down Invoker's farm or experience. They weren't able to kill him. Sure, they scored a couple of kills on a Darkseer, but it didn't seem like the laning that was that effective. Perhaps if they moved to a more traditional 3-1-1 with a very like a huge aggressor as their safe lane carry. I mean, if they triple lane bottom last game, they would have had a Magnus. Yeah, he's going to get farm regardless. You can just put him in the middle for that, or even just solo in safe lane. There's no reason to really have him part of a double or triple lane. But regardless, I think if they just go with a more traditional setup, they should be met with more better results. But we saw a very unusual Tinker ban. Again, it didn't really seem to do anything. Tinker is really strong with the Martian machines, which means that you can sort of go for an all-out push strategy if you're really scared of that. If you ban Tinker and Coddle, that really opens it up for push strategies, but they didn't really utilize their bans effectively. So we will see more traditional bans with Bat and Wisp. And looks like they have a pretty strong draft to begin with.
Yeah, I really like the clockwork here. Obviously, it's something that people see all the time. Like the past few drafts today specifically have almost always included the clockwork, but I kind of feel it's going to be a little bit different in this circumstance. The first setup, I got to say, don't want to flame, but it wasn't very, very effective in the match between QPAT and Dignitas. It just didn't have the impact that you expect from it. In the last game, when Light of Heaven was playing it, he had the right intentions, but his team didn't have the right momentum. You want to go clockwork when your team's ready to chase and go for picks, when you're ready to dive in and know that your team has enough strength to back you up when you can single somebody out. But that wasn't the kind of team that they were running, unfortunately, and that wasn't the momentum of the game itself. But in this situation, they have some great early game heroes like the Gyrocopter and the Bane. Especially when Bane gets his ultimate up, he's going to be a big player as far as finding kills, and that's where Clockwork can kind of benefit a lot more. He'll pick off somebody, he'll force the frontline issue, break apart the team fight with the cogs, and the Bane can stay on the back line. The Gyrocopter can kind of stay in midstream to dish out all the damage they need. And of course, along with that, it's going to be Dread picking up his Clockwork, and I gotta say, I know for a fact that he plays that extremely well, so very excited for that.
And RoX.KIS will just seem like they're going to do very similar to what they did last game. Most likely BZZ on that safe lane, Gyrocopter just farming away, Dread again on the off lane. Last game was Darkseer, this game most likely Clockwork, and a couple of support heroes and setup heroes in the way of Bane and another support hero yet to be picked. So Empire will go with the very, very strong roaming dual combination of Shadow Demon and Leshrac, and this just opens a lot of options for them. And I feel like they were a little bit passive from the get-go, especially with the Void pick and 2 heroes in middle. And with this sort of draft, instead of the more passive draft from last game, they're free to move around the map and get that early kills. And that's what we know about Team Empire. They love playing aggressively, they love getting a lot of kills early, and this suits their playstyle perfectly.
Absolutely. So this is going to be changing the pace of things a little bit. I think that's really good that Empire have drafted for full team fight mentality and full gank and roaming mentality, because honestly, they play well with just about any carry. I mean, honestly, Below Your Brain's going to be able to get farmed up no matter what. It's just what kind of setup he has. If he's going to get picked off early, or if he's going to be able to dish out the damage based on the pure amount of farm that he's acquired. So we are going to see all the carry bans coming out of RoX, which is great for them. Alchemist and Lifestealer being taken out, but I don't think that's going to hinder Empire too much. They'll have a just secondary tier carry, but they're going to have such great team fight and gank that they still can make things happen here, especially with the Shadow Demon pickup against the Bane. Obviously, the Bane was drafted against the Shadow Demon, but just having it here means that they don't necessarily have to worry about that Fiend's Grip on their carry all the time, because even if you can't disrupt the Bane, you can always disrupt your ally, and that means that even a Bane's BKB won't be enough to prevent the Shadow Demon from keeping their teammate alive.
And we see pretty focus-minded bans from each team. RoX.KIS banning the 3 strongest melee carries in the game: Alchemist, Lifestealer, and Phantom Lancer. And we see Empire ban out a couple of support heroes and the ever-so-dreaded Nature's Prophet. So Nature's Prophet we see picked up first in the first phase often, but he's pretty much relegated to last ban in the second phase. Lina, Keeper of the Light, and Nature's Prophet, they still have a Rubik in the pool, and I'm surprised that neither team has picked or banned him out in this.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. Right now, I mean, of course, it's Rubik's less of a player when there's less big spells to steal. Specifically, of course, the Magnus being banned out means he's far less often to be picked. I'm sure there's some pretty good stats on that, but I just, generally speaking, Rubik is generally on the field if you're worried about the Magnus, and of course, being that first ban, it's not going to be that much of a big deal. So we do see back and forth a little bit of Chen action to work with the Bane. I love that. And then, of course, the Puck will be high aggression on the mid there. I have seen Team Empire play a couple of weird lineups. I've actually seen a lot of teams play some weird lineups that work well with Darkseer, Puck, and Leshrac. I've actually seen a combo where they don't go for a carry at all and they pick up something weird, a Disruptor, and then you can just drop the kinetic field, vacuum them into it, and just completely screw them over. I doubt that's what's going to come into play, but it's just weird to see all this team fight and low priority on the carry. It might be a bit of a surprise pick, as they are second pick, fifth coming on up. So for now, we'll see exactly what they go for, but of course the Bane and the Chen going to be prominent, and with the Juggernaut to help push, they're going to be putting some pressure out, even if it does mean Gyro has to mid.
I really like this Puck pick from Team Empire. Scandal really was the person that brought Puck to popularity in competitive play recently, and he was the solo safe lane, or somewhat solo safe lane, farming Magnus, and it just didn't really suit his role. He wasn't able to make the impact that Scandal usually does. Widely considered one of the best solo players in the Western scene. I think that's really just where he belongs, and he can set the pace for his team, setting up the aggression, especially coupled with the aggressive lineup that they have with Shadow Demon and Leshrac. I think it could lead them to a very good early mid-game start, which is what they lacked last game.
Yeah, that is going to be interesting. Below Your Brain's Anti-Mage is going to be a pretty big deal. They can kind of go to 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. very, very quickly with the Shadow Demon's Disruption to help that out. And he has a lot of survivability against a couple of things, like the Call Down and the Spin from Juggernaut, but in general, a lot of the damage is pure. The Brain Sap, the Test of Faith, a lot of that can lock him down pretty hard, so I'm kind of surprised to see the Anti-Mage in this role. Of course, Below Your Brain loves to pick up the Anti-Mage no matter what situation he's in, but I'm not exactly sure if I'm confident about it in this composition. It'll be great as a hero, it just isn't really designed to shut anything down as far as I can tell.
Yeah, but they don't have any lockdown on the side of RoX.KIS. They only have Fiend's Grip, and as you said before, you can just disrupt either the Bane or the Anti-Mage and just pretty much escape, and then he can just do whatever he likes, because they don't really have any stuns besides that. I mean, there's Battery and Hookshot, but those are very, very minimal duration, as well as Homing Whistle, which is very long and difficult to execute. So he can just pretty much run rampant as soon as he gets his item, especially if he gets a Manta style. Unless they get like a quick sheep on RoX.KIS, I think they will have a lot of problems if they don't shut them down early. But looks like that's exactly what they have in mind with almost all 5 heroes in this top lane already.
Yeah, interesting position there. We're going to have a quick pause come out from the Bane, actually unpause pretty much immediately, but one way or another. Let's go through the rosters real quick, just to keep tabs on what's going on here. Of course, Dread is going to be learning that clockwork on the top lane for RoX.KIS, which, by the way, if you guys didn't know, that's Radical Online Extremist Kaspersky Internet Security. Says their full name there. But anyways, Vonskor is running the Bane, heading towards the bottom, I believe, and going to be supporting it down there, where BCZ is perfect. Is actually going for the safe lane Gyro. So this means a bit of a mid-Juggernaut on solo, and then a little bit of roaming and jungling action from Yul on the Chen.
So something that is very, very unusual is that mid Juggernaut. But regardless, I will introduce Empire's lineup real fast. We have Twista on Leshrac as part of the triple lane on bottom. They have already smoked up. Mitch on Shadow Demon. We see Light on the Darkseer, Scandal on the solo Puck middle, and Blow Your Brain on the solo anti-mage top.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting, this smoke. This is great timing from them. They expect Light of Heaven to be solo offlane 100%. They expect, okay, we can be aggressive on him, we can zone him a little bit, and these are only 2 heroes. Chen, of course, is off in the jungle, so if they don't expect this, they already dropped the Sentry Ward, so they know that even when smoke dispels, they won't be obsed out. That means they can kind of flank. We see that a lot of the time, they'll go like hiding in the side shop here and waiting for that opportunity. Now they're going to be flanking around and looking for an opportunity on Chen, and with the Split Earth, with the damage they'll have, it can be very, very dangerous. So now we see the smoke expiring, and the question is who will have vision first. Right now, the creep wave, it's just a stack coming on through. So it looks like Mitch is going to be in a good position to get the disruption on Vonskor right here. Will he react in time? No. Gets fogged out with that disruption timing, and now the jig is up. They are kind of out in the clear, and whether or not they had the impact they wanted seems to kind of be up in the wind now.
Yeah, a couple of things about that. They didn't have Observer Ward back here, so they weren't able to pick off an easy kill on a support. Usually when you do that aggressive sort of smoke, you want to have an Observer Ward back there. And also, there was this Observer Ward up top by RoX.KIS close to the creep pool spawn, and the absence of any supports over there just really should set their alarm off in their head. Where are their supports?
Dread taking a lot of damage from Blow Your Brain, kind of soloing up. He knows that. Okay! Anti-Mage didn't have Blink, so he just made a complete mistake there. He was literally dueling with Dread, who had far more HP than him. Like, I can't even fathom the mindset there. Like, literally, he had Spell Shield at level 2 against a Clockwork, which doesn't make sense in the first place. He got trapped in the cogs, but he just stood there and right-clicked. He could have walked away.
Yeah, I thought he was going to blink out, but I mean, as you said, he didn't have blink, and he doesn't have a stout shield either. You can't really man mode other heroes without a stout.
It's ridiculous. I honestly cannot justify that by any stretch. We see Bottle already coming out on the little piggy guy, going on to Dread. Blow Your Brain doing a lot of damage here now that he has blink, and it is going to be Mitch to finish it off. Going to do the right clicks to actually get a return kill, but still, setting back Blow Your Brain. He didn't pick up that kill. He just copped the death. And of course had to TP back to the lane, so a bit of a misplay, misusage. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he thought he had a stout shield, but I don't know. I certainly was playing like it. Either way, does end up 1 for 1 as the Clockwork will head back up top.
So it looks like Puck will just have whatever he wants in middle, just because Juggernaut can't put out any pressure on him. If he ever decides to spin and play aggressively, he can just orb out, and if once he gets level 6, he can just phase shift to Omni Slash. No big deal there. So I expect Scandal to win that lane pretty heavily. He has 14 creep kills to Juggernaut's only 5, and Solo is just hurting right now, desperately in need of a bottle, but he gets sent home by Chen for that quick life and HP regeneration.
Yeah, that certainly will help him out in that situation. Now, you actually have a little bit more expertise in the mid-Juggernaut situation than most other individuals. I have seen the Chen being farming up this easy camp, so he's not going to stack and spin that down. How do you feel about his position? Obviously not winning the lane necessarily versus the Puck, but kind of branching on into the mid-game. What do you think he's going to be able to do?
I mean, I think he does have a better chance at this early game. I don't really like his starting item build. So with Juggernaut Solo Mid, all you really do is just spin a wave. It's less than 30-second cooldown, or it's 30-second cooldown level 1, but you can just spin every wave, especially with Bottle, and just control the runes that way, and you should get a decent amount of farm, unless they're just like miraculously awesome last hitters. But he shouldn't really fall too far behind in the way of XP and levels. But as far as his mid game, I don't really like him in this mid game either, just because it's really hard for him to find a target. There is the defensive disruption in case there's the Omni Slash target. There are the illusions that you had to deal with for that too. There is Puck, who you can't really lock down, especially with his only one disable in the form of Fiend's Grip. I mean, he's an okay lineup if you want to push heavily, but I haven't really seen this pressure out from them, except right now on bottom lane.
But they certainly have a good start. I mean, they're going to be able to bring down, it looks like the Darkseer on bottom, didn't catch that, was checking out the duel between the Shadow Demon and the Clockwork with that haste rune. But, yeah, it was the initiation using the Ensnare or the Nightmare to get BZZ as perfect in range. And from there, the Barrage Flat Cannon, sufficient to bring down the Darkseer. And without those Ion Shells, this tower's dropping pretty quickly. They can keep on resummoning with the Skeletons. I'm not sure if the Creep's a lagger on it, but either way, they are putting a lot of damage on in. Even with the Basilius active, they do have Yol giving that armor aura, and now they're actually being able to do a lot. And Snare comes out onto Light. Are they going to go for another one here? There is no mana on the Bane, so they're just trying to force him back. Iron Shell and surges up, but the tower dropping quickly. The right click will go to Chen to finish it off.
And first tower will go in the way of RoX.KIS, so it looks like they're getting off to
bad
a very
move
nice
for mid. Juggernaut already used to spin. Doesn't get the Soul Catcher, fortunately for him, and there is no Dream Coil from the Puck yet because of the fact that Scandal doesn't have that experience compared to Solo.
So, I thought Solo was about to go on him there, but he thought twice about that one.
Certainly.
So last hits and denies looks like it's still going pretty well in the way of Empire. Dread looks like he's in big danger.
Yeah, he is. The creeps, there's no creeps here, so Leshrek's just going to do a lot of damage with its Edict, but getting hit by the Cogs twice forces him out of it. Might be enough to get Dread out of here. Taking a lot of hits, dodges out the stun though. Good move from Dread. Still has his bottle, but the body blocks from Blow Your Brain. No, it's going to be enough with the ultimate from the Anti-Mage. Mana Void finishing off. I thought he might be able to bottle the right clicks, but of course AM apparently gaining more experience than Puck, of all things, but yeah, able to rebound a little bit, use that ultimate to great effect, and pick up the kill there.
And I expect to see a lot more early game pressure from RoX.KIS. They do have this Chen pick, and he is level 5, so we will have 2 creeps and able to put out a lot of pressure on this Empire lineup. We haven't really seen Puck shape. Looks like he's spinning on in the middle, but again, it's really difficult for Juggernaut to kill him there. And I expect, again, a lot of tower pressure from them and just find space for BZZ to farm. BZZ, again, just having his way with bottom lane.
Yeah, Dread takes some pressure, but Blow Your Brain doesn't even have the mana for Blink, so he's not really going to do too much here. But the interesting thing we're seeing is that... Okay, on bottom lane, there is going to be pressure on Avanscore. They have been stocking up for quite some time, but not finding that... Oh, I missed completely. I was looking at Scandal going in on top of the Shadow Demon, gets the Dream Coil off. Avanscore will be dropped down very, very quickly. He had that Invis. He used it to great effect. Great timing of the orb to land right in position. Now getting spinned down, but the Omni Slash is unavailable, so he will be able to TP out nicely. And that Omni Slash was actually committed on the Darkseer. Now we see up top, Twista dropping down. There was that movement from Dread. Now has his ultimate available. Can bottle for the hook. He can get it right here. Blink is unavailable on the Anti-Mage, but this TP, the Darkseer, they don't want to have to deal with this, and they're both going to fall back. Double Shockwave coming out, hurting Blow Your Brain as well as Light Heaven. I don't think they're actually done here. They're just kind of pulling off the tower for a moment, but with that salve coming out of Blow Your Brain, they know they can't get a kill.
Yeah, it looks like they're forcing Blow Your Brain to tank those creeps out of the tower, but he only has mana for 1 blink at this point, and they are receiving a lot of reinforcements. Twister coming in from that T2 tower, and we see Scandal rotate in. So it might be a 3v4 here if RoX.KIS overstays their welcome.
Yeah, flanking on up. They have everybody here in the right position. There is the ensnare, but they're actually baiting it. He is inside the cog, so he's going to take a lot of hits here, but Secure Scandal doing a lot of damage. Will get the silence on both of them, but no Dream Coil available. There's a Nightmare on towards the Anti-Mage. Right clicks will finish off Chen, as well as that Edict taken away, but now not going to do enough to Dread, or is it? Going to try to hookshot? No. He won't have the opportunity with his mana being burned out so consistently. Nice cogs, but the right click does bring him down in the end. BZZ is perfect. Whiffs the call down, but a lot of damage from the barrage. Unfortunately, both Solo and BZZ get stunned up by that beautiful splitter from Twista, and they're not going to be able to finish it. Big damage coming out of Scandal. 1 second left on that Dream Coil, but has to watch himself. Does use Dream Coil, use the phase, big magic wand, and he might man up on this, dropping the healing ward, but he takes too much damage from Solo's spin. Instead, BZZ is perfect, gets healed up from the hand of God, and Vanscore won't be able to finish it off. Just going on Solo here, and it looks like at least that will be a kill. So many opportunities, so many intentions to actually make something happen, and in the end, they're only going to be able to pick up the Juggernaut of all things.
Yeah, I thought Empire was in a really good position there, especially considering the flank from behind, but just getting those early kills on those important heroes really sealed it for him. And BZZ forced to rotate from bottom, so slight victory for Empire because of that, but looks like Gyrocopter and Anti-Mage are both tied for last hits with 41, and Puck closely behind. Let's check his Blink Dagger status. Looks like he is foregoing treads, a little bit unusual for him, but still halfway on his way to Blink Dagger.
Precisely there. But one big thing about that last fight was Scandal didn't have his ultimate, and Waning Rift at only rank 1 at the time, just not going to make the impact he wanted to. So he jumped on, he did some good initiation, but with the Cred doing some good work with his cogs, now actually speaking of doing a lot of damage onto Mitch. I actually don't think he can kill him here because of that disruption, but actually still doing a lot of damage single target, and Vanscore certainly adding in that brain stuff will help them get the kill. But yeah, no, it was really good movement from Dread, getting cogs off exactly in the position to push people back, to screw people over. He did end up dying, but he wasted a lot of time where they tried to keep on focusing him down, and they really couldn't turn around the pressure on the other heroes. Now we see the tier 1 about to drop down. Last hit going to go to Solo if he can get there, but BZZ going to pick it up because he knows he cannot. So now they have a bit more control of the enemy jungle. Wards about in the same placement, actually a little bit lower here for the Dire, but it still works out in the end. Either way, they are going to be looking towards pressure on this top lane here.
Yeah, so really making good use of their Juggernaut pick. This is exactly what they needed to, just clump up together, make the most out of Chen and that healing ward early, and just abuse the not too great team fight from Empire, especially without Blink on Puck right now, to have that really nice Dream Coil initiation.
So we haven't seen too much presence from the Shadow Demon and the Leshrac together. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think they've been trying to move... Oh, I don't want to miss this team fight. It looks like there's an orb middle, but I mean, they're really just like forced into defensive position, especially with an early first blood on Blow Your Brain. Shadow Demon was forced to come top and just help him secure the kill and kind of win back his lane. I think that was a big mistake by Blow Your Brain, and because the Shadow Demon and Letrak pair were forced to split up because of that early first blood, it just really nullifies that early game aggression that Empire was aiming for with their lineup.
Yeah, that pretty much paints the picture there. We see that once they split up, they've been kind of falling apart on just about every lane. They've been having a lot of issues, and it's come down to RoX.KIS having initiation going in on top of Twista here. He won't be able to get his spells off. You can spam Edict, you can spam Split Off all you want, but you're underneath the Battery Assault. But they do get Scandal to pick off the haste run here. We'll be able to use that and kind of kite around back and forth if he so wishes. But they know that they're going in up against at least 3 heroes, and of course that Omni Slash is very devastating as well.
Yeah, I thought that Solo was about to go on him, but with the Everso loses phase shift, I don't think he can. It looks like Solo is going to use a spin, so we'll leave him vulnerable for a little bit of time, but I do not think that Scandal will initiate on this. And looking at the gold graph, 2,000 in favor of RoX.KIS, and XP graph just a little under 1,000, again in favor of RoX.KIS.
Mm-hmm. So right now Duckster doesn't even have his boots of speed, just running Hedra. Soul Ring wants to rush up that mechanism, but it feels like he's already so far behind. We've seen this Hand of God kind of making its impact already, and on top of that, the mechanism recipe is on the courier for RoX.KIS. So they're going to have a 450 healing they can do throughout the fight, and Empire doesn't have any. Comparatively speaking, it really feels like despite drafting a very aggressive mid-game teamfight-oriented lineup, that they're the ones that are going to fall short in a 5v5.
Yeah, and actually they're doing pretty well on farm. The gold difference is only 2,000, but keep in mind that they have 2 T1 towers now, so that's pretty much all that's keeping away from that gold difference. And
initiation coming on in. Dread going for a perfect pickoff on Twista. Nice defensive disruption. Might give him a chance to actually get his stun up, but the Edict does come out. That's all he's going to get because it takes way too much damage here. Solo doesn't have mana for Omni Slash, but the courier, what is that War Dog doing? Just kind of hanging out, checking out what's going on, but in the end, he's just going to get right-click down extremely quickly along with this Tier 1 tower. So the pick off on the Leshrac, good movement from Dread. Again, I'm telling you, likes to find those narrow opportunities, and when you can close in on a Leshrac and you have that Battery Assault active, there's nothing he can do.
And these teamfights are just going heavily in favor of RoX.KIS, making excellent use of their early pushing potential, already taking out 3 towers and looking for their 4th on top tower. Meanwhile, Blow Your Brain is free farming away on bottom, not going for the early battlefield rebuild, even with quite a bit of gold.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I mean, he has Treads, Poor Man's Shield, and Vitality Booster. He had some early setbacks, but as a whole, his GPM is still 382. At this stage, of course, Vitality will help him fight quite a bit, but just, I mean, he already has a PMS, so he's probably not going Vanguard. I guess it's just casual Vitality, trying to bump up his HP so he can survive through those pure damage nukes, which are now pretty much maxed out. Rank 3 on the Test of Faith, rank 4 on the Brain Sap. Blow Your Brain is very unconfident about his position, not even taking the Tier 1, as they kind of rotate around after the Tier 2 falls up top.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't decide to take it. Again, they don't have that much to lock him down with. Maybe if they get a hookshot after his blink, they can kill him, but I don't think Blow Your Brain should be playing as passively as is. I think that maybe that just first one just completely changes his mentality and be like, oh man, I need to take a break on my aggression and just tone it down. Looks like he's going for a Yasha, though, after that casual Vit Booster pickup. He's 1-1 and 2, and again, he's actually on top of the board for last hits, but granted, the Gyrocopter has 4 more towers, so that extra gold just doing a lot of work. He has Phase Boost and Drugs of Endurance, and there must be something on Chicken because he's very underfarmed. Those are his only items.
Yeah, we do see Scandal's going to be able to pick up his Blink Dagger finally, and hopefully this will mean they will get a successful 4v5 engage, because they really can't afford to commit Blow Your Brain. You said he's on top of last hits, but he kind of even on the Gyrocopter, considering the fact that he's been farming other lanes while his allies fight, and when they're playing 4 distract from 1, and Anti-Mage does have that opportunity to farm freely, he should be skyrocketing ahead. So,
Twista.
Oh, opportunity Twista. What's going on with him? He's like AFK, disconnected. They're going to need a pause here. That couldn't be more unfortunate, and the Brain Sap is already in process to finish him off here.
Yeah, he is most certainly dead.
That's a cool animation for Bane, though. Just pausing that out. You're just going to check out. He's like all raring to go, sapping up that energy. Delicious, he would say.
But it looks like this tower will drop very shortly. Still 50 seconds on Glyph for Empire, and I don't think they have any chance of defending this tower. Even with that recent Blink Dagger pickup, Puck is in no position to initiate on their heroes, even though they are slightly clumped right now. Twist is going to be dead. Blow Your Brain is farming top, so looks like this will be the 5th tower that goes down for RoX.KIS.
Okay, so we see Twista come back on in. back into pretty much his demise. Like, he has no hope of this. It's already, everything in motion is really unfortunate. He's got to feel bad about it, but those kinds of things happen. Either way, the disconnect comes on through, and his death now shortly after. Bane picks that up here and going to take the tier 1. They have their healing ward on cooldown, but it's going to keep ticking away to keep everybody up despite some counter push. So doing a lot of damage there. Even Mitch copping a lot of damage, and honestly, Dread was probably looking at initiating on him if he felt he had the opportunity.
So we see smoke from them, but they do have the Observer Ward. I think it might have caught 1 or 2 heroes, but I don't see any pings out from Empire. They might have just called it out anyways, but Solo will bottle an invisibility rune. It looks like they want to find top, and they want to find Blow Your Brain, but again, they have to get a grip on him or a very nice hook shot afterwards.
Yeah, this is going to be close. Blow Your Brain. I'm not even sure they had line of sight there. I don't think they did. So Blow Your Brain in a bit of a rough patch, and all they have to do is just close on top of him. But right now they don't have the vision, and it looks like he's just going to skirt on by, just barely. Everybody walked right past him, and he's able to just completely free Lee Farm unmolested.
Yeah, and none of the smokes popped, so I guess they thought that the smoke would pop if AM had been farming there, but lucky for him, just out of range for that. But with those 5 towers down, it's really, like, Roche is just all RoX.KIS's, and Empire doesn't have any map control right now. They've lost a lot of team fights. They haven't really decided to fight any of these towers, especially with Blow Your Brain just farming away. He does have his Yasha, though, and he should probably start joining the fight soon, unless they want to go full turtle mode after this last T2 and Roshan is down.
Yeah. So right now they do have great creeps to push on the Chen. Yul has been able to pick up both the Troll Summoner to get a little bit of extra tank on the front line, the attack speed boost from the Centaur Conqueror, and the attack damage boost from the Alpha Wolf. So they can just pretty much have a zoo go assault this tower and topple it very, very quickly, while the important initiators can stay out towards the side. Gonna get some right clicks on here quickly. The big thing they have to look out for is Puck, Scandal in his initiation with the Blink Dagger, but right now very far away from that. Blow Your Brain going to eat a homing missile in a short period of time, but unless they ensnare and go very, very deep on top of them, they're not going to be able to finish off anything. Just taking the tier 2 and happy for it to be able to just get free gold, free map control, and Empire can absolutely do nothing.
Yep, and that tower kill will go to BZZ, so 2,300 gold after his Rishon Yasha pickup, and once he gets his Aegis, he's just going to be as huge of a problem. Maybe not as big as last game, but still a big problem nonetheless. Gold earned around 8,500 in favor of RoX.KIS, and XP earned around 2,000 for them. So RoX.KIS a very nice position to close the series out after this Roshan. I mean, yeah. What can Empire really do? They're forced into full turtle mode. I don't think they're going to contest this Roshan. They can get a little bit of vision with the Illusory Orb and the Shadow Poison, but I mean, are they in a really? Can they really do this?
I think so. I think they have the Darkseer, they have the Puck. If there's any time to turn this game around, this is actually its moment. You say when he takes the Aegis. I think if. I honestly think that if they can get enough lockdown, silence BZZ before he gets his call down off, then suddenly the team fight will go very, very differently. But of course, they are fighting from behind. Got the gold disadvantage, now vision disadvantage with rocket flares going out left and right. And yeah, they're going to be able to focus this Roche hard. 4,000 gold. And right now, the intermediary, Solo with that haste rune, is just going to be kind of a buffer zone between them and the Roshan.
Yeah, and here we really see the power of Healing Word. Even if Empire decides to fight them right now, they're actually going to be the ones at disadvantage. Like, they've taken a couple of rocket hits right now, and Leshrac forced to go back to heal, even with just like 60% HP. He just only has 700 HP pool, so 437, he's just going to die to like 3 flags.
Mm-hmm. The problem is Darkseer's levels and farm in general. Light of Heaven only just now picked up his mechanism. Yeah, it's fine timing at 1750, but unfortunately that's about 45 seconds too late for that kind of big fight there. And along with that, rank 3 vacuum plus at least a rank 1 wall is going to be rather potent, but he just isn't finding that levels. He hasn't gotten level 10, hasn't gotten level 11, and as such, that initiation potential is quite limited.
Yeah, I don't really like Blow Your Brain's item choice. I mean, he really just needs to play catch-up for him. They haven't decided to take any fights, so yeah, sure, he did pick up his early Vid booster, but has he really fought since he picked it up? I don't think so. And it might serve him useful in this next engagement, but he'd be very, very close to his Manta style, maybe 500 gold away from now. Empire trying to stack a little bit of camps here and get a quick bit of levels before this impending T3 push from RoX.KIS.
Mm-hmm. Good position for all of them here. They pretty much can go on in and not have to be concerned about anything. BZZ has the Aegis up, of course, and then Solo, that Omni Slash, he's going to drop his payload one way or another, and I think he's going to do it very sooner rather than later. Big initiation with the Blink. There's Dreamclaw as well. There is going to be a big hook on Dread. Beautiful cogs pushing everybody apart. The Fiend's Grip on Scandal drops him down. AM only barely blinking out. Blow Your Brain taking a lot of hits, but even more so is that beautiful Omni Slash going across to finish off both of them here. Double kill for BZZ. Right click man mode battle going between the two before this time the Bloody Brain will be able to blink on out of that little skirmish. Either way, this tier 3 should be dropping quickly, and that is going to be the beginning of the end, I believe. I mean, with these rocks falling, Bloody Brain has that much less potential to bounce back, and it's going to get rough very, very quickly for them.
Yeah, one of the most underrated parts about Juggernaut is the healing ward, and after this rather shaky early game from Solo, he's just continue to dominate, especially with Chen and these pushes. They really have just so much heal with the Chen heal, with the mech, and this healing ward. They don't have enough damage to burst them down.
So just trying to do some disables here. Dread's the one to get locked down, but he has that blade mail turning around onto Blow Your Brain just a little bit. Pure damage going across again. There's a vacuum though. Big silence, but Scandal still taking a lot of hits. Will be able to jaunt away from the spin. The ensnare locking Blow Your Brain in place though. He does take a fall. We do see it turning around onto Mitch. The Rocket Barrage, the right clicks, doing enough here. A buyback comes out from the Anti-Mage. He's the only one to have it though, and with this Enfeeble, I can't say that he has really much to bring to it. They're going to go ahead, and Dread has his cooldowns, or they could just lock in place with the Fiend's Grip. Whatever they're doing, they're just bursting it hard, and it really doesn't matter in the end.
Kill the healing ward for crying out loud. Scandal and the rest of Empire has not been doing their job, and I mean, they're just at full HP. They just took a T3, they just completely wiped them after a buyback, and they're still at full HP. This mass heal strategy just like completely dominating, and again, you really need like a Keeper to Light. I don't know why they didn't utilize Keeper Pick. It'd be perfect against this sort of strategy.
Yeah, but unfortunately just not working out. They call the GG once more. They can't burn down the healing ward with their 500, 550 range heroes, and it's just costing them very, very quickly. We do see a little revenge kill, bringing down the Juggernaut the least, but he pays for it very, very abruptly. Either way, well played to RoX, the Radical Online Extremist Kaspersky Internet Securities, being able to take out Empire here. Really, really smooth match for them. They take them both 2-0, and rather convincingly. I mean, there was a little bit of shakiness at one point in their first game, but in general, across the map, they seem really, really strong for vast majority of the games. So here we do see BZZ carrying up Gyrocopter as good as anybody, and they're going to be able to just seal the deal right here.
Yep, a little bit of fountain camping going on before the end, but again, 21 minutes GG called out from Empire. Final score probably around 19-8 before the last-ditch kills. So, and yeah, they're taking this game in convincing fashion. I did not expect this early of a GG, but I think it all really has to do with a little bit of the draft and Blow Your Brain just giving it first blood and setting the pace, forcing him to a defensive position from the start. That's not where you want to be versus Chen, not where you want to be against push strategies, and RoX.KIS totally abusing their early game advantage and snowballing away and just ending this game very, very quickly.
So, as I was kind of saying, the Anti-Mage, although he wasn't disabled, he just didn't become much of a prominent pick. Of course, you can't just blame the carry for a loss that happens in 22 minutes. He didn't get the ample opportunity to set up. He just kind of was there farming, pushing, but in the end, he was a non-factor. He committed to very few kills. As we can see, he was only 1, 4, and 2, so he didn't participate. But it wasn't just his draft alone. It was kind of the playstyle mindset. When Mitch and Twister got split up, that was them missing out on a lot of kill opportunities. Of course, in general, there was really good movement from RoX, whether they played aggressively with their lanes or they just got really good heals and aggressive plays. But things started off poorly when they couldn't get the first blood down to bottom and instead taking it up top 1v1. I mean, that's just... it's a little silly madness that happens in these kinds of games. But in the end, yeah, it shifted out of control very, very quickly. And 22 minutes in, we see RoX will be able to bring down Empire and eliminate them from the KIS Invitational.
Yep, and thanks for joining us, guys. I am Merlini. You can follow me at twitch.tv/MerliniDota or YouTube, Twitter, any of the social media, all /MerliniDota. We'll be casting the last BO3 for today in a little bit less than an hour and a half. And any last shout-outs, Blaze?
That's it. I mean, once again, shout out to Alienware and KIS because they are the ones that make this possible, and I'm super happy that they're getting involved in Dota 2 esports because they've been prominent across the board in other games, and definitely think that Dota 2 is a worthy one to pick up there. But shout out to the viewers, of course, in general, just being able to jump on in and enjoy the game. That's what it's all about, is to bring you guys a little bit of entertainment here with these cool players doing some awesome action. But beyond that, yeah, shout out to you, Merlini, for casting this up and providing some awesome insight. Like, I feel I learned a couple things here, so that's really cool to be able to cast it up with you, and I can't wait for the next match.
And we'll see you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in.
See you guys.